What is going on, guys? DBG here, and today we are going to be talking about the best team in NBA 2K22 MyTEAM, and we're going to be comparing it to the best team in NBA 2K21 MyTEAM at Christmas, lads. We are going to be comparing the two squads. Obviously, last year there was a complete, weird one where it was every some cards were good on one gen, some cards were good on the other gen, and we're going to take them into account what the cards were on their best gen. So, if you guys are new to the channel, subscribe. We put more MyTEAM content here than anywhere else. And obviously, I'm recording this video here on Christmas Eve. This is my second last video that I'm recording. It is 4:30 in the morning. I'll probably finish at about 6 a.m. Then gotta be up at 9, 10 a.m. spend the day with the family and stuff. So videos don't make themselves, and I mean, as I said a little bit earlier, it's one of those weird Christmases where a lot of people are kind of having to spend it by themselves out of, I spend it in isolation. So getting as much content there for people like that as possible is something that, I don't know, might help a few people. So I help cure a few people of boredom. So it is what it is. So, first of all, NBA 2K22, lads. When we're looking at point guards, I think it's hard to put Steph Curry in the top two. I really do. I think I'm going Penny Payton. Wait a minute, is this... These are both 2K21 lineup creators. Oh, same difference. Create 2K22 lineups, this 2K21? Yeah. So, I'm going Penny. For me, my number one point guard in the game is Penny. And the number one point guard in the game is Curry. Say not Curry. What am I on about? Penny and Curry? Penny and Payton. I think Penny and Payton are both better than Steph Curry. I'm just putting it out there. You can disagree with me, that's fine. But for me, it's Penny and Payton. Number one and number two. I think they're both spectacular cards. I think Penny's just bigger. Payton's better on defense. I think Curry's a non-existent defender. Even 75th Curry. I'm going to actually remove the snow. So I would say that's quite off-putting in this type of setting. Or in this type of, the way the video is. But for me, I'm going Penny and Payton as the top 2 point guards. The top 2 point guards in 2K21 at this stage. This will be an interesting one. So I'm trying to think what point guards there were in the game prior to Christmas. So we look at December 24th. So there was Iverson this day. Some people used Penny, I guess, last year. Penny was not as good in game. A lot of people use Jamal. If you were on next gen, a lot of people use Jamal Murray. Double take Derrick Rose. I think it was double take Derrick Rose and Dwayne Wade. Or, nah, it wasn't. It was Wade. Wade was what almost everyone used who had Wade. And Curry. Steph and Curry still. Especially if you were on next gen. Because Curry was so good on next gen. Basically, last year, the fades were a thing. Curry's fade was just unguardable. This Curry came with half range straight away. This Steph Curry card was ridiculous. Curry slide, everything. Whereas Dwayne Wade, he was more of a current gen card. Wade based on current gen was still one of the best releases in the game. Wade based on next gen was garbage. Wade based on current was one of the best releases in the game, bar none. He had the Pro 3 behind the back, which was crazy. He could still blow by people with behind the back. The speed burst was the thing. He was the best 300 point guard, and he was getting constant chase downs. Curry versus Rose was a debate. I think more people used Curry than used Rose back then. But Dwayne Wade was in a lot of people's squads in the 250k tournament. Actual tournament. A lot of people use Dwayne Wade. So, he's number one. So, we gotta compare and contrast. I don't think either of these guys, if you put them in, are putting it up to these guys. I'm sorry, this Steph Curry was unguardable. This Steph Curry was better than... I was trying to use the Opal today. People used this Steph Curry last year. Last year was just Curry slide spam. Speed burst, Curry slide, bang. On current gen. And if you were on next gen, he would just come off a screen, shoot a fade, and it was unguardable. Wade on current gen was so much better than both of these guys. It's not even funny. Best behind the back animation, better dunk animations. On next gen, Wade was a trash can. But Wade on current gen was better than both of these guys. I think Curry on next gen was better than both of these guys as well. I'm putting Wade and Curry. Whether you want to say Curry was better for next gen, Wade was better for current gen, I'm saying last year the point guards were better than this year's point guards. I'm standing by that. So now, this is where this year is really at a good spot when it comes to two guards. We got Kawhi. Nah, we're going to go Kobe Bryant. And we're going to go Klay. Two of the best creating players in the game. Klay Thompson, I purchased him today for my own squad. Or yesterday, if you're because you're watching this on Christmas. So good. Klay, so freaking good. Movement insane. Dunking mediocre, but it's fine. His defense is god tier as well. Kobe Bryant is the exact same. Kobe is just a better dunking Klay. That's the best way to describe him. Kobe plays almost exactly like Klay, but he dunks it way better. In game, they feel very similar. I think Kobe's just that little bit better. A lot of people are more comfortable with Klay because they've used him for longer, but I think Kobe's a bit better, but it's close. Whereas last year, the best two guards in the game, if you were looking in December, if you were looking at, like at this stage, for me, it's a close one because this card was really, like Dwayne Wade obviously was a two guard. I need to find where he is. Zach LaVine. He was, I'm wrong. He came out the day after Christmas. I would have put Zach LaVine in there because he was a Curry slide. He was just a Curry slide and demi. But the best two guard in the game last year was Kobe. And if we look at Kobe compared to this year's Kobe, 13 hoffs. 92 speed, 93 acceleration, 92 3-pointer, 95 lateral, 95 driving dunk. Gold range, half flexible release, like 13 hoffs. Only silver interceptor. Whereas if we look at Kobe Bryant in 2K22, we're looking here. He's out with 3 less hoffs, but he has so many more gold badges. As well as that, Kobe dribble style was terrible last year. Kobe Bryant dribble style is really good this year. The escape is better. The burst is better. I think Kobe's better this year. I don't care what it is. I think Kobe is better this year. But Kobe's a no-brainer player in here. The other player I'm putting in as the other two guard for 2K21. We're going back to season 2. I think the second best two guard in the game at this stage was this dude right here, J.R. Smith. J.R. Smith had a 96 3 ball, 90 speed, 92 lateral, half range extender, pro 3 behind the back, gold quick for step, gold clamps, gold intimidator. It was a gold interceptor. He couldn't curry slap. He had a great behind the back and had a really good release, which was on 49 on quick. I know he had base dribble style. Still had the behind the back to make up for that. And we didn't even know about dribble styles this time last year. It's J.R. Smith. J.R. Smith was the second best. No question about it at this stage, in my opinion. But I'm standing by. Whereas the point guards, I think 2K22 is, or 21 wins, no brainer when it comes to shooting guards. Kobe Bryant, Klay Thompson, significantly better, lads. Like, significantly better. And yeah, now we are on to the small forwards. And I think it's a close one. I think it's a really, really close one with the small forwards for this year. I think Kawhi is no-brainer. I think Kawhi is an absolute no-brainer. 75th Kawhi. Like, I think if you're not putting Kawhi in this, you're crazy for this year. Like, he's got that. His jumper is insane. His defense is insane. He's the best defense player in the game. He's just way better Jimmy Butler. I think he has to be somewhere. Whether you're putting him in a power forward, whether you're putting him in a small forward, I'm not entirely sure. But Kawhi Leonard, I'm looking at 2K21 Kawhi. Kawhi Leonard needs to be somewhere. He's got all these half badges, half interceptor, how good that is this year. gold range, one of the best release in the game, 97 lateral, 93 speed, 93 acceleration, fundamental dribble style, great behind the back, which is his own one. Kawhi Leonard, no brainer in the 2K22 squad. And the backup small forward, Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant. KD, no question about that one with Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant is one of the best players, period, in this game. I'm guessing you guys know that LeBron's going in a power forward. And I'm looking at 2K21 again. Durant is better this year than he was last year. He's got 93 dribble, 90 speed, 87 lateral, 85 driving dunk. He's got quick dribble, or he's a shifty dribble style. Best behind the back in the game. Last year his behind the back was terrible. This year he's got Pro 3. Like, it's nuts. Absolutely nuts. But yeah. Defense plays at a decent level as well. As well as that, you can give him interceptor and stuff and make him just god tier on defense. Again, he's not 6'10", but he's still insane. Whereas, if we were looking at NBA 2K21 at that small forward position, there really wasn't much. There was this guy right here, Paul George. Paul George, who came out right before Christmas. He was a guy who was still in some people's 250k squads. Paul George released on normal timing, which is a lot slower than this year's normal timing releases, by the way. He still was 94 speed, 94 perimeter defense, 95 driving dunk, half quick first step, clamps, interceptor, intimidator, off-ball pass, pick dodger, tires defender. So he had a lot of things going for him. He really did, and he was big at 6'9". But like, was he that much better than Paul George this year? His Pink Diamond, who's now 100k today? Like, he had 5 extra half badges, but like, I mean, half showtime was pretty good, and quick first step was pretty good. But if you're looking at, he was that better. 2.865, yeah, he was a lot better than this year's Paul George. But so yeah, Paul George comes in, and the second best, which is one of the crazy things, was while Paul George was the best small forward, the second best was a clone. The second best small forward was Cam Reddish. So this Cam Reddish was the Cam Reddish glitch, who every single person got in November. On the 18th of November, there was the Cam Reddish glitch. If you guys don't remember, basically, you had to evo all of these rookies, and once you evoed them all, you got Cam Reddish, or you could buy them evoed. But there was a glitch where you could swap an evoed card with a non-evoed card. So you would lock in all of these guys, and you would lock in all their top tier cards, some of them would go for over 100k. But then you would swap them. You would swap in their like base 82 overall, and you would auction off the expensive one. So you would have none of these guys evoed sit in your collection while you had the Cam Reddish. I think it only cost like 40, 50k in the end based on tax. But Cam Reddish, only 8 half badges, which is like about what they're getting now, I think, diamonds. But he had an 88 lateral, 90 driving dunk, Paul George release, same behind the backs, Paul George, Pro 5. Clone of Paul George. Like, he only had silver range, but I mean, Cam Reddish was spectacular last year as well, especially considering that pretty much everyone had him and he was cheap. So in comes the Cam Reddish glitch player. And I'm sorry, Kevin Durant and Kawhi Leonard are so much better than Paul George, Cam Reddish. Like, these guys were good, don't get me wrong. They were good. But like, these guys were not winning you games by themselves. Whereas Kawhi is just way better than that Paul George, and Kevin Durant can win a game by himself. Then at the power forward position this year, and now I think there's one player that's in there. It's LeBron James. And there are two players. Like, LeBron James, he shoots the ball really well. His defense got half interceptor. And LeBron does everything at a really, really high rate. And he can shoot. And there are two players that I'm considering. Rudy Gay and Giannis Antetokounmpo. Let's compare. So player build. Rudy Gay's player build is not Giannis, but it's not that much worse. Like, Rudy Gay is the biggest player build in the game. He's the biggest 6'8" player in the game. He literally has the biggest player build. 2K game, or not 2K gamer. 2KDB have confirmed that. Wingspan, only 1 inch difference. That's another reason why his wingspan is huge. But 3 extra half badges on Rudy. Stats wise, they are the exact same. Total stats, they are identical. Giannis is better on defense. Rudy's way better at shooting. Rudy's a better dunker. Rudy's a little bit faster. 23 of Giannis are in passing vision. Giannis is better interior. Rebounding-wise, Giannis is that little bit better. Badge-wise, I'm gonna say it. Rudy's better. On defense, though, however, that's where Giannis steps in. So you're looking, you're like, okay, you can add 6 badges to Rudy. You want to give him some of these defensive badges. He doesn't have Intimidator. So Rudy might be better at small forward. But I think this is a close one. Again, you got to give Rudy rebound chase here. But the difference for me is what separates these two guys is that I think Giannis is the better corner defender. Giannis is by far the better corner defender. But Rudy's still a really good corner defender. But I think what separates these guys is that Rudy's release is better. Rudy shoots better. And Rudy is quick dribble style with the best behind the back in the game. Giannis can't really move. Giannis can't move with the ball in the half court. I'm putting Rudy in above Giannis Antetokounmpo. I think it's a preference-based question. And I can guarantee you there are people that are slamming their keyboard right now, commenting, DBG, you're an idiot. You just don't know how to use Giannis. It's like, no, he doesn't suit my playstyle. And Giannis, even Splash will tell you, Giannis doesn't suit everybody. There are competitive players that hate Giannis. There are competitive players that love Giannis. Splash will even tell you himself that, even Ty will say it, that there are guys that will suck with Giannis. And there are players a lot better than me and likely a lot better than you as well. Unless you're some comp player watching this. Like, there's players likely a lot better than both myself and yourself that hate Giannis Antetokounmpo. And I'm one of those. I hate using him. Rudy, no brainer for me. But because I know a lot of people would prefer Giannis, it's a close one. Giannis is the, like, if there was there's going to be an 11th man here, and I'm going to put Giannis in here. Because this is a literal preference. Not that Giannis. That Giannis sucks. He doesn't suck, but he's not in the conversation. Giannis is just chilling here. But last year, AK, wrong AK. And if you guys are wondering where I'm coming up with these, I realized I made this exact video last year on Christmas Day, and I'm looking at it right now. So we had Andre Kirilenko and Zion Williamson. These guys were the two guys from last year. So Kirilenko was insane. 88 speed, 88 acceleration, 88 3 ball, 95 ladder, 95 steal, 95 block, 92 pass step, 7 half badges, 6 of them on defense, half clowns, half interceptor, half chase down artist. He again, he could get showtime. 80 driving dunk. Like, look at his defensive stats. They are scary. And he had 98 and shifty dribble style. I'm sorry, like 98 was big last year. Only on current gen though. I used him on next and hated him. He was really not doing on current gen. I did not like him one bit on next gen. So it's a weird one talking about him. But at his best, which is why what we're judging all of these guys by in 2K21 on current gen, man, he might be better than the LeBron we have right now. I'm not even joking. With that 98, with how good 98 was on current gen last year, he's probably better than the LeBron we have right now. But that Zion, he was the worst player in the game on next gen. I just want to put that out there. He was almost as bad as this year's Zion on next gen. But Zion's stats ridiculous. Like, this guy came out in November. He came out the week of the PS of. He came out before the PS5 came out. He came the week of. Well, before the PS5 came out in Ireland. He came out the week of the Xbox coming out. 90 speed, 92 acceleration, 93 3 ball. He's got half showtime, 87 lateral, half catch shoot, half corner space, half target shooter, half volume shooter. He's got quick first step on goal as well. Clamps goal. So we had kind of everything and range. It's just he couldn't really dribble that well. And like stats are decent, but he was small. He was 6'6". So for me, well, I personally think of all of these cards, the best was last year's AK on current gen. But I think LeBron and Rudy and Giannis are the next three best by a mile. And then there's probably guys that I can't even think of that I think are probably better than this Zion was. This Zion was not flawless. He was flawed. He was very flawed. And then, so I'm giving it's currently 3-1 in terms of 2K22. Which is weird because last year I actually gave the win to, I'm pretty sure, did I give the win to 2K? I think I might have given the win to 2K20. Yeah, I think I gave the win to 2K20 over 2K21. I think I gave the win to 2K20 over 2K21. But this year, man, the whitewash is David Robinson at center, whoever the hell you want to use as the number 2 center. I'm sorry, whoever the hell you want to put in here. You want to put Garnett. You want to put Evan Mobley. You want to put George Mikan. You want to put Hakeem. You want to put Jaren Jackson Jr. Whoever the hell you want to put as the second best center. Like D-Rob, I think, as time's gone on, I'm starting to appreciate David Robinson even more. But D-Rob is the best center we have seen pre-Christmas ever in my team. You give him some shooting badges. You give him... He's already got all the defense badges. You give him some shooting badges and like a coach. He's already got elite lateral. He already got an elite block. He comes a gold interceptor. D-Rob release is such a good release. He's so freaking good. D-Rob's so good. And he's just so good, man. He's 7'1" as well with a big wingspan. He's just so nice. And the reason why I'm saying it's a foregone conclusion is, lads, the number 1 center at Christmas in 2K21 was Blake Griffin. So Blake, he did have 9 half badges, 30 golds. He had 2,881 total stats. Lads, we got a Blake Griffin today. 15 less. And this year's Blake is faster laterally. Speed, exact same. Mid-range, this year's is slightly worse, but basically the same. 3-pointer, essentially the same. Badges wise, you've got 9 on this year's, 9 on last year's. Although last year at half showtime, which was the most important badge in the game last year, defensively, this year's one's that little bit better, a little bit better block. Post game, last year's one was a bit better. This year's one is faster with the ball, but has lower ball handle. The pro one behind the back was a lot better last year than this year. But the reason is, I will concede this much. This Blake Griffin was a lot better than this Blake Griffin. It was a lot better, but I want to also make this point. This Blake Griffin isn't even in the conversation for the best center. He's not even in the number 2 spot. And last year's number 2 spot is Wayne Embry. As great as Wayne Embry was, like, Embry was the best vault reward we had ever seen at this stage. Wayne Embry, 86 speed, really solid but not spectacular. Great driving dunk. He did have half showtime, which is the most important thing. His shot was meh. Had some really nice defensive badges, I will admit that. But like this card right here, even with his 12 half badges, this card right here would not be a 6'8". You couldn't play this guy center in today's game. He'd be just mashed. He'd just be mashed by Dave Robinson. You couldn't play this guy center in today's game. Like this guy, like he's very similar. Like he's a better defensive, worse shooting George Mikan. Like even with his finishing badges, he's a better shooting, worse defensive. Or sorry, he's a better defensive, worse shooting George Mikan. I think and he's also 6'8". He's freaking Dolph. Like he's Dolph. Like if you look at Dolph's defensive stats, 89. Like Dolph's a little bit worse dunking, but Dolph's a way better shooter. Dolph's only got 6 half badges, but Dolph comes with 30 golds, whereas he only had 23 on him. Like he's literally just better defensive, worse shooting Dolph. That's the best way to describe him. He's better shooting, worse defensive Dolph. And I'm not putting Dolph as the number 2 best center in the game. I think there are better players than Dolph. Screw it. Let's put in Hakeem. I think Hakeem is probably, universally people will say he's probably the most comparable to D-Rob. There are so many centers. But the center position, it's 4-1. Just for how much D-Rob is better than Blake Griffin, it's 4-1. So yeah, lads, the best team we were able to make last year in the game was this. It's the best team. This year, this team. I think I can confidently say this year's is a lot better. It's a lot better. Whereas last year, I actually said the better team was 2K20 over 21. This year, 22 is a lot better than 21. So anyway, that's the video. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.